Hi, Cyrus. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks very much. I'm really excited to be part of this podcast.
Yeah, thank you. And I hope that you guys are doing okay. I mean, despite what is happening in the world. But yeah, how's it going with you and your team and the app and the product?
Yeah, well, it's been since Christmas that things are going very insanely. I think so. Everyone is again getting into crypto or trying to understand it. So yeah, it's been very, very, very busy last month. Let's put it that way, in a good, very good way. We've grown from I think so 80,000 to 130,000 number of verified users on the platform. So that means that yeah, it's doing great. I think so. This pandemic and more than everything has to put us to accept the digital way of working, communicating, and managing its wealth. And I think so. That's the third layer where we were specialized as in crypto wealth management. So it's been a great ride this last 2-3 months. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. You actually founded or co-founded SwissBorg. It's a cryptocurrency wealth management app. If you can explain more about like the whole product in itself, because what I think that this 2021 post-COVID economy, now that digitalization is actually spiking, a lot of people are also getting into cryptocurrency and digital money just because of whatever that is actually happening in the financial market and the politics. People are so, kind of like getting updated, and now that they have the digital literacy, how to use kind of a computer, Zoom, internet. So now they want to get actually into the bigger, I would say, hypes that is actually happening in the market. So I myself, I'm actually trading more cryptocurrency, right? And it's just trading more. It doesn't mean that I want to just like do it as a fun. Maybe I just want to take over or have a control over my own financial means, and rather than having the bank, which I have a lot of problems with. So I actually I looked into the different products that are out there in order to how to manage my portfolio, in cryptocurrency. And then you guys were one of the best in the market, and how you have been managing and scaling up, and also solving technicals and so forth. So I think it is very important now to educate the audience and the subscribers, and even like people out there, how they can actually easily just download an app and then transform or transport all of their assets into one, and then do a lot of different strategies on top of that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Azam, for that. I think so. The real goal is that, as you understood very well, is how can we essentially empower ourselves, and obviously empowering ourselves is something that everyone should try to do. And it comes from democracy, governance, to its own wealth. And the great thing about crypto is that your wealth could start at $10, right? 10 euros, or something that is not as used to be like in the stock markets. And I think so what we're really doing at SwissBorg is to democratize wealth management by making it fun. I think so that's really important, by making it fair as well, and by making it community centric. And I think so those three values that are very strong at SwissBorg is something that people do realize quickly when they watch our YouTube channels, when they download our app, when they use our apps. And I think so that's how you really want to grow going forward. The old banking mindsets, which is to reveal very less information, then to treat sometimes people not in the fairest way in order to add spreads or add different fees. I think so. That's the world of 20th century. Now we're grateful that blockchain technology is all the opposite, right? You really want to bring in transparency in. You really want to make sure you're doing this on a peer-to-peer level that you is very inclusive. And more importantly, what I always believe, which it is we don't only invest because we want to make profits. I mean, profits is what you should be doing, but you need to focus as well on ways that you're investing into products that you like, right? And more importantly, into as well the purpose, right? And that is really what I like the most, is is if you buy Bitcoin at 10,000 and you sell at 30,000, congratulations, you made 300%. That's great. But if you're buying into Bitcoin and then you're using it like to send money like I do to my dad in Iran, well, Bitcoin's Iran, that's really, really cool. And the third layer, if you're investing in Bitcoin because you believe in decentralization and how essentially you could create a network where you incentivize everyone to be on it. And you have North Korea and South Korea mining, you have Iran and Tel Aviv, exchanging Bitcoins, you have Russia and the US exchanging Bitcoins between each other, and you have 190 other countries around the world. So when you say that, then you're investing for these three reasons. It's not just making that quick buck, and it's more about supporting a cause that you truly love. And I think so at SwissBorg, that's exactly what we're trying to do and show how people could get into crypto in the best way, the easiest way, the most secure way, but as well in a way where people could find their purpose into their investments.
Well, that's amazing. You mentioned that how you send money to Iran using cryptocurrency. Can you explain that more? How does that work? How long is it? I believe that your dad might not be able to liquidate it as fast. He might use some exchanges there. If you just can explain.
Yeah, essentially. So you could send Bitcoin to anyone who has a native wallet, right? Who has a mobile phone, essentially. And there's a cryptocurrency exchange in Iran there that essentially is able to withdraw Bitcoins into Rial, the currency, local currency over there, or Tuman, you could call it. There are two ways. And that's what he does. My dad's 76 years old, and he's able now to receive Ether or USDC, sorry, and then withdraw it from different exchanges, and it's really cool.
And he does it by himself?
Yeah, so he came. So my brother was more patient than I was, but he really taught him, and yeah, he knows how to do it. And obviously, it's not something easy. Right. But what we don't understand is that 50% of people on the planet are rather unbanked or underbanked, and that is just one great utility how crypto could empower everyone. It's not the only concern. It's one of the concern that it's tackling, and we have a very big community a little bit everywhere today. And there's some countries that for them it's not speculation crypto. They use it on a daily basis, and for just the regular banking means that we have with our current structure.
That's right. So if you can explain more about the app SwissBorg and how many coins could be actually transferred there, just the features and everything. I haven't downloaded it yet because I wanted to get a referral from you, so then I would actually get some rewards. So. And and also some people that I've talked to that we hope we have a conversation coming up with you. They asked if they could get a code or something, so then for just a promotion. So perhaps we could actually just roll it out here for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be great.
So yeah, essentially what we're doing is a platform where you could onboard within 10 minutes. Then you could deposit in multiple different local currencies. We accept today like 15 different local currencies like euros, GBP, Swiss francs, and others. And then when you did that, you could buy, or you could deposit crypto as well. And then what you could do is you could buy and sell different digital assets. And we haven't created an exchange. We took the same philosophy what NASDAQ has done or Skyscanner. So instead of just creating a new exchange, we created a meta exchange, which is on top of different exchanges. And today you could buy and sell at the best price all the time, because what we do is that you on board with us, and then you could, if you want to buy, like say, I don't know, 10,000 or 1,000 pounds of SwissBorg tokens. Well, what it's going to do is that it's going to look at different prices on these different exchanges, and it's going to look for the best route. So sometimes you're going to be able to say, like, you're going to sell GBP against US dollar getting Bitcoin versus Ether versus SwissBorg tokens. And it's always going to try to look at these different efficiencies and pricings and make sure that you're getting the best out of it. So it's really like a trading assistant for anyone. But again, anyone could really do it, and that's one good part. And as we grow, we don't believe everyone is a trader. I think it's a very small amount of people are traders or investors, but people would like to have more passive income, and that's really the big theme of this year at SwissBorg. Is we're adding more and more ways to add yield to different tokens and different cryptos, essentially. So right now, if you, for example, want to have exposure to US dollar, we have like a robo advisor program that gives you a high yield on USDC. So it's the crypto of US dollar. And right now it's crazy. It's out of 26. It's like 26% rate of return on out of the year. So it's really high because it's investing into different liquidity pools and different lending pools of decentralized finance.
Mhm.
And it's the decentralized financial applications are really booming itself. Last year at the same time, we're at like few hundred million. Today we're at over $26 billion.
$1 billion. Mhm.
It's really growing, and we really again love that decentralized financial mindset, and that's something that we're doing. We'll be adding Bitcoin and other tokens where you could just leave them on the platform and let them yield. And yeah, that's a great way for people to earn like passive income. And you will get your referral code, and like that you'll be able to scratch magic ticket, and that magic ticket you could earn up to 100 euros worth
Perfect.
of Bitcoin.
Thank you. Yes, actually, I remember when I was in school studying finance, we had to obviously like do a lot of trades uh, for tasks, right? And then we had like 10 pages open, windows, and then obviously just like handling our portfolios and everything. And at the same time, uh, if you wanted to, make a profit within the trades, obviously you had to choose which exchanges is selling at the lower, and then you can actually which exchanges is you can actually say at the high. So it's just like doing an arbitrage, right? But with you guys, it's basically a simultaneous arbitrage. You're actually saving at the margin, and that's what I actually love, because then it would save me a lot of windows and a lot of like um eye gazing at the monitors. That thing, that's one of the biggest things that we would actually I would be looking into when using SwissBorg. But also with the digitalization and everything, and we can see that the law firms, or sorry, the financial industry now, like the wealth portfolio managers, so that position might be actually kind of like disappearing at somehow or at some point because of the robots and the robot apps are going to do that. So if you can explain more how you guys are going to be kind of like what is the competitiveness at the current kind of like level, and then what are the expectations, or what the forecasts that you're actually looking into, and who are your competitors in the market, in the crypto market and in the financial market?
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure that the machine will replace the man for everything, because I still believe there's some people that do need relationships in order to build trust, and some don't. Like right now within our crypto wealth app, there's people depositing millions of dollars, not even talking to us, which is super crazy, right? Like, if you're in a private bank and you want to
Because you
get
guys are licensed in Switzerland. Where are you licensed
yeah, we're
in?
licensed in Switzerland and in Estonia for Europe.
Okay. And
But
I'm
yeah,
sorry, one more question. Is there any restriction for citizenship or any country that's been forbidden from the platform?
yeah, of course. So we're not open to US investors yet,
Hmm.
because we need licenses to go there. And then there's like few countries that we're not
Canada?
Canada, we're there, yeah. There's few other countries that we're not yet, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's
Mhm,
pretty much
okay.
the US, and we're not there. Um, but yeah, I was saying there's now we're seeing like these a lot of people that are our generation, between the 30 and 50 years old, that have a fair amount of cash and really believe into this new crypto world, and especially with the Fed printing $1.9 trillion and all that, there is a devaluation of all the fiat. And I think so. Crypto is everyone should own up to 10% of their portfolio of their wealth in crypto. And more as we see these new decentralized financial application was fiat a basic investment, you could grow even more that portfolio. But getting back to man versus the robot, we've seen yet few like amazing community members that essentially have deposited millions and millions of dollars without contacting us and really just blindly trusting us because they believe that. But then there's other people that still need that human relationship, will need us to contact them to really know that
For sure. Yeah.
we're
But they
people.
are relying more on the algorithm and the AI that you guys are using in terms of, maybe if you can like further talk about like how your algorithms work. But my point is that now I would trust the system, the computer, more than a person that might have some human, flaws. And but I think that it might actually offer me a better deal, and obviously the blind points that I might not be able to get, or the person that is actually that might be tired, or lack of education, or competitiveness. You know what I mean? But then obviously there's the point of contact that would not be missed, obviously without a human.
Yeah, for some, and I think so. Right now the competitors, I would say, in the traditional world is really hard because it's there's not so much offering in the crypto, right? For more, let's say, the regular traditional wealth managers. I would say on the other crypto side, there's been so far there's Matrix ports that have a nice offer. They have different like wealth management, but it's very Asian driven. It's even Chinese driven, so it is a different market. Like their rates are just crazy. That way, they're very high risk. That's the mentality, I would say. Regular in the Chinese market, people go for like insane risk. And then, yeah, I think so. Then they might be like crypto.com that is somewhere close to what we're doing. But this market is so big, and it's so
That,
early.
yeah.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, we're very happy. I mean, I wish all the best to all my competitors. I hope that they grow as much as they
That's
can.
a very nice attitude, actually.
Yeah, because it's just that
What's your market cap today?
we're at 300 million, I think so, which is
And how
good.
many users per se? Approximately.
130 or 140, yeah, 140,000, yeah.
Wow. And what are your scaling up strategies? How are you guys are
Yeah, that's we're trying to figure it out every day, to be honest. It's very difficult to scale. I mean, there's multiple layer of scaling, but the scaling within the company is always the most difficult one, because you really have to make sure that you have the best people at each position, whoever they are. If it's
right?
from the support to the CTO, if it's from the investment team, the main portfolio manager to, I don't know, someone in the marketing. And I think so. With the pandemic, but as well with the attitude of blockchain, we quickly noticed that we had to be a lot of people remote around Europe mainly. We chose Europe because before we had multiple continents, and that is very, very, very hard to work in multiple continents when you don't know what time and all that. But now it's really, we're mainly out of the 85 people we are around here in Europe, and our technology is very scalable. It's called Scala, which is our backend technology, which is being invented actually in Lausanne, which is our headquarters. So it's great technology to scale, but then there's always few things that we're able to scale because there's things that have to be done manually. And yeah, I think so that's the whole tricky part about scaling and making sure you maintain the same 5-star service. And this last month, we haven't been able. That's clear that we got outnumbered by the number of onboarding, and which creates different problems and payments and this and that. And there's always crazy stories happening internally at SwissBorg, and but the great thing is that we're all able to learn from the bad experiences, and hopefully the community is has enough love to, to make sure that they're not too disappointed from what we do. And the massive big news is, so this probably this week or the following, we will launch the yield on the SwissBorg token. So that is going to be like whatever
If you can
level of
explain a
like,
little bit more about
yeah.
this new feature.
So yield farming is about, as it says, is if you provide a seed, you will get a beautiful plant, right? And that's exactly what we're doing. So for people that are on our SwissBorg app and that are essentially staking SwissBorg tokens, but as well with their data, we're going to incentivize them to yield on the SwissBorg token. We're going to be one of the first company in the world that says, like, we are looking at your data, but we're paying you for that reason. And I think so that is extremely, it makes a lot of sense. We're not going to be selling their data. Let's put it as very clear that we're never going to be selling data and we'll always be keeping with it, but we're still using it. And for that, we want to reward our community members. And people will be able to yield on the SwissBorg token. So you could like earn up to, let's say, X% per year, and that's based on a community index. So
Mm.
this is where it gets a little bit complicated. Every week, we have a community index score that's between 0 and 10. If our ecosystem is flourishing, the yield farming is growing. That makes sense. If the system is not doing extremely well, obviously, we're not going to be yield farming extremely well. And the factors of ranking this different yield farming, sustainable yield farming program, it is based on the activity on our app, it's based on the volume, on the SwissBorg token, on social media, it's based on the community app, which is our game, the DEO, the app. So there's different metrics that enable to score and see, are we healthy or not? If we are healthy, well, therefore you'll be able to collect a lot of beautiful fruits
Well,
and
there goes your ecosystem utility. Oh,
exactly.
that's amazing. That's amazing. And I had a question in terms of the KYC. How long would it take for you guys to verify?
So there's three different levels of KYC. The first level is usually due automatically, so that's the fun part, but not always. One third of the time it fails, and that goes quite rapidly. It takes like usually less than 10 minutes. The second part is to verify your address. That's manual. That takes time. And the third part is we need to onboard people actually with a conversation, with a video conversation. So
Wow,
that,
really?
yeah. And and therefore that's one of the reasons this last month we had
It's
some issues
different.
going because, well,
And why is that? Because like usually the exchanges, you would just upload your either it's a face recognition or a driver's license or a passport,
yeah,
or
I think,
sometimes an address, proof of address.
yeah, we have those two, but the third layer is that, again, I think so we want to protect as much as possible our beautiful community. And by having a phone conversation, a video phone conversation, we actually know the person. And if that person loses app or whatsoever, we will know this person, right? We will have a video of this person. And then therefore, for reapproving this person, if he needs to or she needs to reinstall the app, it will be done much in a better way. It's a lot of people always neglect KYC, but they don't realize it's actually the best thing for their own because it provides security. And on the third thing is that, for the third layer, it's people that have deposited more than $100,000. So we really try to understand as well, what are their goals? Why are they into crypto? Do they want to know more information? How can we provide a better service to these different high net worth individuals? So it has as well not only the security function to that, it provides as well a more tailor-made investment solution and just providing a cool experience again, which goes with our fairness, funness, and the community centric part.
Great. You mentioned about data and well, anything about data actually it reminds me of privacy and how important it is. uh, Quick questions on that part. are those data kind of like, you said that you use those data, and is it kind of like an anonymous way of using it? And second, if a government, and do you also provide report of your users with their information to their governments in term for the tax purposes?
So no, we're not based in the U.S. That's why we're not in the U.S. and that's
Yes,
what we're
right.
in the
Yeah, but
U.S.
like different
No,
different
we're Swiss, so we don't need to do all that. We
yeah.
believe in banking secrecy. Obviously, everyone has to report their own file. I mean, file their
File.
own taxes
But
in
if
every country.
even if, for example, the government of Canada mandates you to report your users, like Canadian users, would you be obliged to do that, or can you just like
So
deny?
no, no, we're not obliged. I mean, the only people we're always afraid is the U.S. That's the only ones that are the big guns. But no, I don't think so. There's never been any case in the
Okay.
financial world where actually a Swiss wealth manager has provided any of this information to any country in the world, and that's why Switzerland has always paid fines on top of that to protect that secrecy. We will always do the same. When we utilize data, we really try to put people into different buckets and to provide a better experience. It's really about more about understanding how do they use the app and how can we provide going forward a better experience with these different people. So we put people in different categories, and there's another thing is it's more about piracy and all about the fact again of really protecting to see if there's any fraud going is happening, and in crypto it does happen quite often. So again, how to protect our community is making sure that we look at different patterns. If we see there's people being connected to different apps at the same time, and looking from different APIs, this and that, we could then realize that there's something not going well, and therefore we need to shut down the app as soon as possible. So this it's more about that is providing again a customization of a better experience and better products, and then servicing better in a better way, and then the fraud and the protection of
There's no third party using those data for their purposes. Well, that's great because obviously it's a concern for every user now, and I think another reason for me to use decentralized applications and technologies because of all these concerns.
right.
Well, it's been a great discussion. Anything else that you want to add to this conversation, or what is actually happening in the next 3 to 6 months at SwissBorg?
6 months is always too hard. We're in dog years, so that would be like almost 5 years of work. So I couldn't know in 3 months we're gonna having more and more yield products, how to build more and more passive income type of products, which could really be good for everyone.
What's your
International.
estimation? What's your estimation in terms of the passive income
Well,
uh,
it depends the
by the end
underlying.
of the year? Yeah,
Yeah,
but whatever data you have, you can always forecast. I mean,
yeah, right now yield farming with USDC is crazy. It's 26%. It's just crazy.
wow.
So if you're premium at SwissBorg, you're earning 26%. If you're not premium, it's 13%. It's amazing. This is not going to last forever. Let's put it clear. But it's great, and with other tokens, you'll be yielding less. That's for sure. But the market is still, we still have so much to do in the crypto world, and it's still a very early stage. Even if Bitcoin is very expensive compared of last year, I still believe on the long run, there's a lot of growth everywhere, especially in the great projects, which I
Just
believe.
starting, right?
Yeah,
Some believe it hasn't even started yet.
I think so. It started, but now we're like in the early teens right now. But we're definitely not more than that. Um,
Perfect. It's been a great discussion with you, Cyrus. And everybody that wants to actually use SwissBorg, you can use this link, which is below, and then you get the promotion. And you also need to be verified for the KYC, which his team is going to actually do that for you.